Alandes Powell. I'm the executive director of Black Art Speaks. It depends on what I was writing. If I was writing a poem, it actually was more for me. So I expressed it in what I was doing, healing through something or what have you. If it was something that was actually being written as I've been a co-writer for a couple of books, it was more to ensure the reader would understand what I'm writing. So sometimes I do it in terms of, I might put a word in there where I feel people might have to Google, so I'm going to change the word and make sure it's something they can easily understand and I can easily get my point across. Sometimes, so first of all, I don't consider myself a writer. Even though I've been engaged in a couple of books and co-written some things, I don't think I'm a writer. I think I'm more of a motivator, and I've used writing to motivate people sometimes. And I think I'm more of an advocate, and I've used some writings to make a point. But I just haven't gotten to the point where I consider myself an author. I feel like my writing, when it's for myself, my poems and stuff, actually helps me through what I go through. Regret first, because I had gotten sick in July and I had been told that I needed to do some things. I was told I needed to go to the Cleveland Clinic and some other things, and that I have sarcoidosis, and it had went in remission, and they felt like it had come back. And I didn't slow down. I kept saying, I'll get to it, I'll get to it, I'll get to it. And then the holidays came, and I said, well, I'm going to get through the holidays. We're going to Vegas, I think is where we went. And I had the stroke on January 6th. And my first thought was probably I should have done what I was supposed to do. When I finally came to and understood everything that was going on, it had been a few days, and I was like, why, to God, right? And questioned him for a minute. And then later, I asked the same question of God, but it was more of, why did you decide to keep me here? Because of everything that I went through after that, and that there was times when I shouldn't have been here. And so now my why of God was a little different. It was, why did you leave me here, and what do you expect?
What do you feel like your why is now?
So I think it changes every day, but this is what the magnitude of what I learned is that the past is normally what everyone focuses on when they're looking at you. The future is what everyone focuses on when they're thinking about their self and what they want to do. But the miracle and the beauty is in the moment right now. And that's what I learned, is that the moment right now is what's important. And so I'm just going to do my best every day. I wake up good days, and I try to use all my energy for something good. And then I have bad days when I just lay in the bed and can't get out. But I just accept the moment. That's what I've learned. So tomorrow is based on our Black Art Speaks, where we're doing our final book signing for the making of the Black Lives Matter mural. And it will also talk about two of our letters, where we're working to stand up the letters, replicas of the letters that's on the ground in front of City Hall. We'll stand them up about 10 feet high all over town, but we have the first two. The first one is the A, and it is based on a theme from the poem I wrote, and it is about gun violence. So we'll have a conversation tomorrow about gun violence. The second is the R, which is going to be stood up in Roselawn, and it's about the bias of black men. And I feel like those two kind of complement each other and almost go together. But we're going to be talking about the theme of those two letters and the fact that we're almost to the stage where we'll be standing them up in those communities, and then we'll go on to the next letter. The panel is great. We're going to have Scotty Johnson, Councilman Johnson. He's going to be there. You know, he was a police officer, and he knows a lot about policies, and I think he's important to be there. The city's voice needs to be on that panel. We'll have Renee McAfee. She's from Closing the Health Gap. She'll be there, and I'm excited. They are our signature sponsors, and I'm excited for everything she's doing, not just for art, but really about us, our health, and there's a lot of closing the gap that needs to be done. So she'll be able to talk about things of that nature. We're going to have 2 artists. So we're going to have international artist Annie Ruth, who will be on there talking about some of the things she's doing. She's doing a lot for kids even in Africa right now, and most of what she's done has been about families. And we'll have Michael Copage, who is a up-and-coming new artist and sculptor. He just did an explosive exhibit. He also finished something called Black Box. He's been a resident in Philadelphia, and he's great. He's going to talk about social justice in a real live way. He really talks about how he's using art to drive that conversation and change. And then lastly, we'll have Shonda Monroe Williams. She's the executive director of UC's Urban Impact, and she's actually the person who's helping us drive putting up the letters, and she was also the editor of the Making of Black Lives Matter book. Yvette Simpson, can you believe Yvette's coming to do that? I am excited about her, and she has agreed to moderate the conversation. It actually just signifies what we've gone through, and having writings about it, our photos about it, our sculptures about it, helps us ask some important questions to make sure we understand the history. But most people who made history were actually doing something beyond for their self and their family. They were actually doing something to make change. And that's all it's about. It's about making change, the right change for your community.